Hey everyone, this is Suzanne, and I'm coming to you today with a bit of a different kind of video. As you probably know, if you follow me here on YouTube, I do a lot of software review videos. But today's video is not about a software. It is about a group of templates that has been created by a lady by the name of Amber Jellink. I hope I pronounced her name right. And they're a lot of fun. And I thought that I would show them to you just in case they kind of speak to you and kind of catch your fancy. All right. So we're looking here at the sales page, and um, Amber's talking about the different ways to use this. Now, they're comic book story templates, and before you run away, you don't have to draw or write anything to be able to use these or to profit from them. So she has given us 5 different methods that you can, or 5 different ways that you can use these templates. And then I have some other ideas for you. So the first is um, these templates actually sell on Amazon as blank notebook type books, except, they're comics. And people who want to make their own comics will buy them and then draw their own stories, which I think is pretty cool. I'm not an artist, so I think that's really cool that people do that. But comics, as you know, are always in. Doesn't really matter, what century we're in. They've always been popular since they came out. All right. The second method is, obviously to make your own comics. So that kind of goes without saying. Then you can also sell these as printables on Etsy. So Amber has put in some examples of Etsy sellers who do sell these kinds of templates and shows you, the kinds of potential. She also talks about using them in greeting cards, and so that's kind of a cool idea. And I can see how you could use those totally. I'm kind of a greeting card person, so I have some ideas about how I could do that. And then the fifth method is pretty much the most comprehensive one. And she talks about using them as um, fun and funky activity books. One of the examples that she has is um, using them as a journal. So, and I'll show you a little bit about that idea when I show you the actual templates. Um, and she's also suggesting fun fact books, joke books, that sort of thing. All right. So you do get these 101 templates in both PowerPoint and PNG. And of course, you can use the PowerPoint in PowerPoint, but you can also, take the PNG formats and use them wherever, whether you want to put them into PowerPoint or into Canva or wherever else you want to use them. And she has some training videos as well. So unfortunately, because I'm recording, I don't think I'm going to be able to like zoom in for you. Oh, actually it does work. Okay. All right. So let's take a little closer look at what they look like. All right. And this is just a portion of them. So nowhere close to um, all of them. All right. And then she talks about what you can do with them. So basically, it's pretty standard. You can change them up. You can use them as is. You can change them up and sell them in your own creations. You can create products for other people as long as you change them and you sell them in PDF. And there are a few other things here that I'll let you read when you get to the sales page. All right. So um, there are also a couple of upsells, and I'm actually going to be doing one or two other videos, depends on how long they end up being, about the upsells. But basically, Amber has a software called Activity Book Generator, and you can make different kinds of activity books, coloring books, that sort of thing in there. So enough about that. I want to show you the actual templates. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just a dozen of the templates that are included with this package that Amber has put together, and tell you a little bit about how I might use them. Okay. All right. So this first one, it didn't come with the numbers. I put those in just for, a little bit of speed. But my thought process was that this would be a little bit fun challenge that you could give your child. So let's say that you want to show them, or you want them to show you how they could make 100. Um, with different numbers. So this represents the whole number of 100, and then the second half represents the numbers that they're going to add to, or they could even subtract to get to 100. So since this is roughly half of the size, I made that the 50, and then I could just easily print this out and say, okay, if you'll notice, the boxes on here are different sizes, so each is, a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller than the others. So what I want you to do is I want you to come up with three other numbers that added to 50 would equal 100. Okay. And like I said, you could make it so that they could have negative numbers, or, do subtractions, or just be all addition. It's up to you how hard you want to make that. Okay. But just a little fun kind of um, game for them to think a little bit. Okay. So the next one here, I was thinking that this would be great for planning like an essay or a paper. Now, if you don't know, I homeschool, and so I'm going to give a lot of examples from that perspective. One of the things that, I had to do when my older daughter was in high school was, of course, prepare her for her SAT, and that included writing essays. And so this could be something that you could use even with a middle schooler, or even, upper elementary, um, where you could teach them, okay, the topic is here, or you don't even have to fill this in. But you need to come up with some points. So come up with an introduction, what you're going to talk about in the introduction, and then come up with maybe 3 points on that particular topic, and then your conclusion. So it's a great little way for them to plan out an essay or a paper, um, so that they can write a little bit faster and not ramble. Their paper will be better organized. Okay, so the third one is, I think, could be a lot of fun. This is actually stuff that I made myself many years ago for our homeschool, and I had to make all the boxes and everything. So this could be used as, flashcards, or even little game cards. You could, let's say, you're having your first grader do the addition facts up to 10. You could print off several of these, and you could just write in the numbers from 0 to 10 with a plus and an equal sign, and then just kind of mix them up, and just put them out and have them make 10, or 9, or whatever the number is that you choose. Um, so that's a nice way to kind of teach while playing a game, and that kind of thing was really popular. Still is very popular with us. All right, so This fourth one that I've chosen is kind of similar to the other one, where you would have um, an introduction and then, or sorry, a title or a headline, and then an introduction, and then, three main points. And this, I think I may have edited this slightly. So I may have moved, I think this may have been one box because you can change them around. So this might have been like that. I can't recall exactly because I have been playing with them. So, but the point is that because you can move them and do different things, resize them, that sort of thing, then it makes it a lot more flexible, which is what I did for this because of my idea. All right, so the next one is kind of similar to what I mentioned before. You could use it for concentration type cards. So, um, you know, foreign language or math or um, grammar or science or vocabulary, you name it, whatever you can think of, you could use this. Um, and the same with this layout as well. These two you could also use for packing. So here's what I mean. Um, when I pack for a trip, I tend to be very granular in terms of how I organize stuff. And so I have a section for shoes on my packing list, and I'll have a section for like my vitamins and medication that I may need to take. So I put that into another section. Um, and then I have like shorts or jeans or whatever. So I have different sections, maybe not as many as 9, but I have different groups and give different categories so that it makes it kind of easier. That's just how my brain works. So you could use that for that as well. You could use this one for that as well. It really depends on how granular you get when you're packing, if you're using that. This is also one that could be used for packing. It's a lot simpler, obviously. Um, so, you could use it for that, but this also kind of speaks to me as a pros and cons table. So let's say you have a big decision to make. Let's say, you've gotten a couple of job offers and you're trying to figure out which one to take. Then, you know, you can put you can put them up here. You can use one for each of them and say, what are the pros of this job? What are the cons? That sort of thing. I find it's helpful to have stuff like that in writing. And then this one is actually one that I had modified. So this was actually, if I remember correctly, this was smaller. And then this was like, there were 2 boxes. I can show it to you on the sales page so that you can see it. But I modified it, and my thought process was that this would be a really nice like journal type page, going back to one of Amber's examples on her sales page, where let's say something has happened to your child and they're really upset, they're really angry, they're really hurt. There's something that they want to say, but it may not be appropriate, or it might not be the right time, or they just don't feel like they can express it. They could easily put it here, and I thought about that for the burst because that's already creating, the burst creates so much emotion. And then these 2 boxes could be a little bit about what happened. What happened before the big thing that caused the child to feel angry or hurt or upset. How is it handled? When did it happen? Is there a pattern of it happening? That sort of thing. So it can really help with kind of working through feelings and figuring out, what can be done and that sort of thing. Okay. Hopefully I'll remember to come back to that and show it to you on the sales page. Um, these two I thought were just really fun if you're into drawing or you know somebody who is. Like I said, I'm not an artist, And, even I could, kind of draw on these and figure out how I could use them. So I just kind of included them in this demo. This one I call the big idea. And so my thought was that, again, going back to kids, you could have them, write in a goal or write in a really big idea that they have. And then here they could actually just brainstorm the kinds of things that they would need to do to achieve that goal, or some smaller ideas that would fit under that big idea, just to kind of try and help organize their thoughts a little bit. And then this last one is kind of funny to me just because it's when I saw this, I immediately thought factors, as in factors in math. And that's probably because we were talking about factors in math yesterday. Um, if you remember your math, a factor is a number that can be used to divide um, another number equally. So, like, for example, I have here 28. And if I had wanted to do this, I could say, okay, here's a number 28. We've talked about the factors. Give me some of the factors. And I could print this out and hand it to, the child and say, okay, write down the factors of 28. And so, they're going to come up with 2 and then 4 and then 7 and 14 and 28 and 1, of course. So, that's a fun thing. You could do prime numbers. What are the first, let's see, there are 5 sections, first 5 prime numbers. So, again, I'm thinking, homeschool math kind of thing. But anyway, that is a demo. This is just 12 of 101 templates that Amber has put together. Like I've shown you, you can move them around. You can move each of them around if you want to. And let me go back to show you that one that I mentioned, this one, on the sales page to show you what it actually looked like before I manipulated it. Okay, so, all right. So it was this one, right? So you'll see that the larger boxes were at the top and bottom. The burst was kind of in the middle with a smaller box beside it. I just thought, for my purposes, it might work a little better this way. All right. But anyway, I hope you'll take a look at this. Amber has it at a pretty good deal for the first 3 days of the launch. This is like the first full-ish day of the launch. And I think the price is set to go up in 3 days, and then in another 3 days it will go up again. So if you have any interest in this at all, I would suggest that you go sooner rather than later to go check it out and see if it can be of good use to you. I will be doing a video on the um, the upsell for the activity book generator, so you can look out for that as well. Um, if you have not subscribed to my channel, make sure that you do that and click on the bell so that you will get notified of all my videos when I post them. All right, so I hope this was helpful to you, and I'll see you next time.